We trained for 10 weeks and then we went to Vancouver and I managed to qualify for Paralympics. Skiing on a sunny day can be really nice, but it can also be really difficult because it tends to give a lot of slush in the tracks. I just had to get used to these guns. I've been thinking in all directions, waiting for the light to shine. In a world of fascination, there's no that meets the eye. A guide never warns you about obstacles. She only tells you what to do. We don't have time for descriptions. So she, for instance, she says, go to the right or go to the left, or she can say stop. And if she says stop, I don't start. Why do I need to stop? I just stop because I know there's a good reason for stopping. And if she tells me to go to the right, it might be because somebody is going to pass me or I'm going to pass somebody else. So she has to make decisions and she all the time tells me what to do. She has to tell me three major things. There's three major jobs as a guide. She has to tell me if it's left or right, if it's up and down, and how far. We use numbers mostly. So for telling her about left and right, 12 is right ahead, so we use the clock. The 1 is a little bit to the right, 2 a little bit more, 3 a lot more, and then we have 11, 10, and 9. For left curves. For uphills we use 20, that's a little bit uphill, 30 is more, and 40 that's really steep. And for downhills we have 60 and 70. So, and then you have to combine them. If you have 60, 11, it's a little bit down and to the left. When I found out that I was going to lose sight, I decided I was going to travel. But I didn't have much money, so I had to find cheap ways of traveling. So I traveled mainly Europe, but I also went to Israel, where I spent a year, and I went to Canada. I had a small tunnel vision, and as soon as it got a little bit dark, what appears a little bit dark for other people, it became completely black to me. So it was night very quickly when there's just a little bit of light. So that made it difficult to navigate. Suddenly, while I was still in Canada, my eyesight deteriorated. So first I didn't really want to admit it, but in the end I realized that now my sight was going, so I had to go back home and started dealing with it in a different way, learning all the practical things you need to learn once you don't have the sight to help you out. And one of the difficult things I remember was learning to use the white stick. Not because it's difficult to navigate with the white stick, but in the beginning I felt it really embarrassing. But now I was in a situation where I had no choice. I had to show other people that I had a problem. My disability have also brought me a lot of opportunities. I've experienced lots of good things, but I think the highlight must be when I won the first Danish Olympic gold medal in '94, because that was so surprising for me. I grew up, thought I was the most clumsy kid and that I couldn't do any kind of sport. And by accident I got introduced to it in Norway at Ridderrennet, and found out to my big surprise that I could do sport. But I never thought I could qualify for the Paralympics. And then I qualified for the Paralympics, but I never thought I could win a medal. And here I was, the first Dane to win a gold medal. That was completely amazing. So from just being me, coming home, suddenly I was on the front pages of magazines and was in television, and that was very big. When I got to know Paul, I was already scared, and it got more and more serious when just during the time where we were just friends. Things progressed very slowly. Paul is a person that thinks a lot before he makes a move.
I don't make decisions quickly. So it was one of many things to think about. But on the other hand, unless you're extremely prejudiced, then the fact that somebody may be blind doesn't affect who they are.
Suddenly in 2000 we started dating. So he was thinking carefully for 9 years before he invited me out. In the fall of 2007 my shape was really good, so we were looking forward to for me to compete.
Her competitions weren't going as well as she expected.
It turned out that I was actually 4.5 months pregnant, and I was still competing in the World Cup. And I had to call Paul, who was in London at that time. I said, "Paul, there's something I need to tell you."
There was no question then that I had to move to Norway, because she was, and in fact still is, doing her doctorate, which is due to finish this year. And it works best for her to be in Norway to be able to do that.
And because I work as a clinical psychologist and a researcher and a teacher, then I think it's important for me that I don't look more disabled than necessary. And when I'm wearing my glasses, it's more calm for me, and it's also nicer for other people because they feel they can see my eyes. But wearing my glasses make it more comfortable. So that's why I'm wearing those glasses. I woke up in the morning, I thought, uh-oh, this is about time. So I couldn't sleep anymore, so I went into the living room, and I think it was 6:30, Paul came to see what had happened to me. And I said, I think it's time. So in the afternoon I said, I think we better go to the hospital now. 5 hours after we arrived at the hospital, Marcus was born. And of course it was painful, but it went okay.
The fact that she was an athlete meant that she had quite an easy pregnancy, a lot easier than other people that we know.
Everything was quite normal just after the delivery.
But after 20 minutes after I gave birth, suddenly I felt really ill.
I insisted to take some blood tests, which we did, and they were quite abnormal. And at the same time, we had, of course, checked the blood pressure, which was really very high and going up all the time. So the doctor then ordered her to move into intensive care.
And Paul was left with a 20 minutes old baby, sitting there not knowing where they took me or what happened for the next 12 hours, so it was a tough start for him.
He slept on my chest all night, skin-to-skin contact and all that, and sucking away on my little finger, or actually both little fingers, not at the same time. And boy could he suck.
Annemette was critically ill, and I was worried about her, and also it was just so sad that I had to split the small family. And she had to go to intensive care, being away from the baby and her husband, and not knowing what's going to happen within the next hours.
She had a syndrome called HELP, which is HELLP in capitals. It's related to preeclampsia. It's quite rare, but people do die from it.
The doctor told me that if I hadn't been in such a good shape, then they weren't sure that I would have made it. But luckily I was in a very good shape, and luckily I was really, really stubborn. And the doctor can do 30%, and 70% is how much willpower you've got. And I thought, 20 minutes is not enough. I want to experience my kid and get to know him. So I'm not ready to go, and I promised Paul that, okay, we're going to be parents, but he's not going to be a single parent, so I just did all I could to hang in there.
So I'm very glad that Annemeta's around, and she's very glad that she's around to see Marcus.
I saw heaven in your eyes, won't you take me there with you? There's nowhere on the earth I'd rather be. You'd be right when I am wrong, I'd be strong where you are not. We'd hold it all together at the seams. Love is the earth set in motion, love is the space between time, where I wanna be if you'll be there with me.
I become a mother, and I've got Marcus, and sometimes I was thinking, I wish I could see him. I know he's a great kid, and I've felt him, and we have a lot of close bodily contact, but there's things I miss out on, which I think sometimes I wish I could see, like what he's actually doing and his facial expressions, and I wish I could see it, and that hurts a little bit. So I gave birth the 20th of July, and it wasn't until after Christmas I was allowed to start doing any sorts of training.
She wasn't as completely able to sail over obstacles as she was before.
And then we had 10 weeks to get me back in some sort of shape before we went to Vancouver for the pre-Olympics.
I knew that she couldn't compete on a top level, so we had no expectations of the results.
And we went to Vancouver, and I managed to qualify for Paralympics. I don't know how that happened, but it did.
She's able to have pain, and she's tough. And in cross-country skiing, it's painful. Competing is painful.
It's been a long struggle to recover. She's probably not 100% even now.
We were racing this course last year. So I know exactly what's happening. I have to adjust to the snow condition that it's going to be on the day we compete. We go out and go a little bit downhill, and then I know there's an uphill coming, and halfway up there's a left turn. And it started out really well. I got to the shooting and I had 3 quick hits, and then I started thinking, and I wanted so much to continue doing well, and then I had 2 misses. And I came into my second shooting and I completely messed it up and had 4 mistakes for the first time in my life, I think, which was very frustrating because my skiing was going really well, but my shooting were really poor, unfortunately. When I started my second race, I really wanted things to go better than the first race. And I managed to do really well at the shooting. I was the best shot of the day. I had 19 out of 20 hits as the only one. But unfortunately, 4 kilometers from the finish line, I had a serious fall where I broke my ski. So I managed to finish with a broken ski with a badly injured knee that later needed operation. But I still managed to finish 7th. I remember I was out skiing at Ridderhandet, and I had Marcus in a pulling him, and Paul was skiing next to me, and we were out there, and the sun was shining, and the snow was nice, and I was pulling my son, and my husband was next to me, and it was really nice, and I thought, oh, how lucky I am, because 9 months ago I didn't know if I would ever be able to ski again. So, and here I was back on the skis, back in the tracks, enjoying life.